Hello and welcome to another episode of the Get Out of Gaming podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ben,
I'm Alex.
and we are your bi-weekly podcast where we kind of talk about what we want to talk about, whether it's video games, anime, movies, you name it. We kind of talk about it. Today, because we it's like mid-year, and so we were thinking like, hey, what shows have we watched this year so far? They could be new, they could be old, um, but what did we watch for 2025 so far? We both have our own lists. We picked out five each. We're gonna kind of talk about them and why we liked them. We only picked things we really liked. Um, so other than that, how are things with you, Alex?
Things are fine, I guess. I've not I don't know, we haven't really done much in a while. I played Donkey Kong, I beat Donkey Kong. Um, so I enjoyed that. Playing some Death Stranding 2. Haven't touched that in a while though. Um, yeah, I don't know. Nothing really happening, like
Yeah,
kind of just living. Um,
it's
yeah.
such a weird time of the year too. Like
Yeah, nothing's really happening yet.
this episode's coming out the last day of July. Uh, where we live, it's ungodly humid and hot all the time. Um, there's been more rain than in the past years.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a weird time. There's not a lot of stuff. Comic-Con just happened, so some great ideas of things coming out. But yeah, we're kind of at a weird spot. So one thing I want to kind of like also talk about, if you go to our YouTube page, you can see a video version of this. This will launch on Wednesdays bi-weekly. And then we also have the YouTube version the same week that comes out in a video form. Also, if you're checking out our YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like our videos. We actually just did a playthrough of um oh my gosh, I'm like totally losing the name of it right now. I don't know why I bought it. Undertale.
Yeah.
We just did a no mercy playthrough of Undertale, so definitely check that out. Uh casual conversation as Alex plays through probably one of the hardest ways to play the game. Um, Definitely check those out. We just finished that series here pretty soon, so check out those videos.
Mhm.
So,
We also have successful videos, I guess I'll just say that. I think it's because the new movie came out, but yeah, Superman. We have a couple
oh yeah,
Superman videos that came out recently. We talked about we're ranking the videos. We're ranking the movies. The Christopher Reeve esque type movies, so including like Superman Returns and Supergirl and all that. And this was to get ready for the 2025 Superman, and then there was also a 2025 Superman review slash discussion thing, but that
mhm,
wasn't with Ben. That was with another person, Steven, and myself. And so that was about a couple weeks ago now. But we're not talking about what's the Fantastic Four, because I have not seen it.
yeah,
And from what I've heard, I probably will wait for a Disney Plus version of it. Um,
yeah,
that's kind of a consensus I've heard, is that the 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 trailers and stuff promised one thing, and like it had a lot of hype, and like it was really good in the first half, and the second half it just falls way flat because
yeah.
there's like 30 minutes or something cut from the film, and so you can really feel that. So um it seems like it's not worth it to go to. I mean, we could be wrong, but I'm not a huge Fantastic Four fan. I'm not really even a huge Marvel fan, especially anymore. And so I don't really want to go out of my way and go see that film. So unless you pay me to do it, I won't do it. But So yeah, don't expect a Fantastic Four thing coming out soon, but the Superman, definitely check that out from last week. As Steve and I talk about the future of the DCU, James Gunn's DCU, and already that is out of date because Comic-Con happened and James Gunn
Yeah,
clarified a bunch of things. So, but still a fun
yeah.
discussion.
I'm working on trying to see Superman, but um, if it's hard for us to get a date night, my wife and I. She wants to see that, but also Nobody 2 comes out. Uh, Loved the first one, but I think we might be able to try and get out to see Superman. You're right. I think on Fantastic Four, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
Uh, it'll probably be out in October, November range,
Yeah.
which is a perfect time to watch it. So, so yeah. But today we're talking about TV shows we watched in 2025. So what Alex and I did, we took 5 of the ones we watched. These are in no order. So if you no, my number 1 is not my number 1. But we just gotta put these in there and we're just gonna kinda talk about what we've been watching um this year and like talk about the shows and what we like and stuff. So Alex, if you want to kind of throw your first one out there,
If I
if
must.
you must. I'm kind
Um,
of by the way, real quick, we don't know each other's lists. So Alex knows one of mine, but that's it.
I might know two of them. We'll see.
You probably do.
Yeah. So the first, I don't know if you clarified this. This is just stuff that we've been watching, and or have watched. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something that came out this year. Um,
Right.
I just want to clarify that for the audience, just in case you're like, but this didn't come out. This came out in 2012. Um, I guess the first thing I'll start with, I've been watching. Do I want to do this one? Sure. So we'll start with this thing that I watched recently, and finished. I hated the ending, but that's a different thing. The rest of the show was great. This is an anime. It's an anime from 2020. It's called Kakushi Goto, which is roughly I guess it's not really a rough translation, but it says my dad's secret ambition is like how it's translated as or localized as. Um, it's essentially a comedy, slice of life comedy about a man who's a single father who is he like has this young like elementary school daughter, and he like when they leave like for school slash work, he's like, all right, see ya, and he's all dressed up as a businessman, and she's like, all right, have fun at the office. She goes her way, he goes his way, and he goes to this store and he changes into his real outfit for work, and he just looks like an otaku because he writes lewd manga, ecchi manga, and so he's a mangaka who just writes really lewd manga and stuff. And so he like has like an office somewhere else that's far away so no one would catch him, and the way that he dresses like as his mangaka self, like it's so nerdy or like gross, I guess, lack of a better term, slobby, um that no one would be like, oh, that's this person's father. And so he works further away, and so he works in like an office, and so he has all of his people and all of that. But then it's kind of like the misadventures as well as um a comedy of him trying to do like his work, and then him trying to make sure that his work doesn't get discovered by his young daughter, like not necessarily like the work itself, but like his editor comes by and is like, oh hey, I work with your father. Oh, you work at the office, like the this thing? And then he's like, what? So he has to like keep hiding and like convince all of his like teammates and stuff to be like, hey, you gotta hide this from my daughter. I don't want my daughter to know that I'm just a lowly mangaka. Like I want her to think I'm a salaryman, a businessman. And so he's just trying to hide just his real job and his real passion from his daughter. And so it's really funny. It's really great. There's a compilation film which doesn't make any sense because it's just a comedy. Why would you make a comedy compilation film?
Yeah.
But they did it. Um, and so the way each episode either starts or ends, it depends, is like it's the past. So it's like him with the young daughter and him trying to like make sure like she isn't discovering anything. And then it like kind of goes to like the future, like after high school, and she's like starting to like discover stuff in like their old like house and stuff. And so there's kind of like two plot points happening. And then the plot points eventually intersect at the end in the last episode, but I just feel like the payoff is not good or too tropey.
Yeah.
It's so much so that like they even call it out as being tropey. I'm like, that's not, it's not cute that you called it tropey yourself. It's just being lazy. But it's really fun. I recommend it for people. It's not really like lewd or anything either. It's just like um it's just a comedy. But I want to
Yeah.
say it was on Funimation, so it's probably on Crunchyroll. Because like Funimation, I think did release back when as well. So yeah, it looks like it's on Crunchyroll. So if people do want to watch that, that's where it is. The movie version as well is also there. The movie version has a little bit of a different ending. It has some clarification about like the mom before like her disappearance, whatever. And so there's a little bit of that there, which is like a nice tidbit, but like it's not enough to like go back and like fast forward and just watch that part. Like I don't think it's worth it. Um and so yeah, again, this is from like 2020, April 2nd to June 18th, 2020. The manga was from 2015 to 2020.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's only like 12 episodes, so it's not horrible.
That's not bad. Yeah, I tend to watch more of the action adventure ones. Um, but I am watching like Mashal right now. Um, and that one does have a lot of comedy in it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Um, I Alex has really broadened my horizon to anime, and we'll talk more about some of the ones that he's suggested for me. And I instantly fell in love and watched it pretty quickly.
Hmm.
Um, but my first one that I want to talk about is an exclusive. It is Goosebumps: The Vanishing. So this is season 2 of the teen type of Goosebumps. Uh, it's pretty. I couldn't watch this with my younger kids.
Is this the
It's gone a
Hulu one?
yes.
Okay. With
So this
David
one,
Schwimmer?
yes. So this one has David Schwimmer in it, and he basically it is the same. His character is like Doko in the Basement book.
Mm,
Okay, so it's the summer, and his kids are coming to live with him for the summer, and they one's going to college over the summer, the other hanging out, and a bunch of stuff happened. Earlier plot line kind of David Schwimmer's brother disappears in an accident in this place,
mhm,
and the whole time it's changed him, but he's a botanist. He works with plants. But when his kids come, he's like, "Hey, first rule is don't go to the basement." Every one of the this season's shows, there's a main story that's happening um, with the disappearance of David Schwimmer's brother when they were younger. But every other episode also is based on a book, like The Haunted Car. Um, they're all based off of a book. I won't give some of the names away because some of the names will definitely give up what happens and things that are goosebump related.
yeah,
Um, but I will say that it's a really good show. It definitely has like almost midline adult things going on.
mhm,
Um, like I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I know it's been out for a little bit. Um, there's some death in this show.
hmm,
I think it's really good. It's just enough kind of scary where it's not like terrifying or whatever. Um, there's enough of it there, but I like it. I think it's really good. I think David Schwimmer does a good job of like not overplaying his role.
mhm,
That's my biggest fear when you get some of these shows like people like David Schwimmer and stuff. They kind of like sometimes overplay the role,
yeah,
and I like the first one. Um, the first season's really good.
Yeah.
Um, and yet every episode is a Goosebumps.
Huh.
Um, R.L. Stein's like, what is he? He's like 90 now? Is he 90?
I don't
We're gonna have to
know.
double check that.
Yeah, I have to look.
But I feel like he's still coming up with these stories. I still see him going to like signing events, which is crazy. Um, you know, I have the Goosebumps books have been through,
81.
yeah, the Goosebumps books and with me have been like through several generations. I read them, my older kids read them, and now my younger kids are reading them.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy. It's like Sesame Street, right? Like everyone watched Sesame Street
Yeah.
because it's been around since the 70s. This has been around big since the 90s. So a little before the 90s.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to get a third season of this. I know he's been working on his Fear Street books, which are more older teens, adult. Um, they just came out with a prom queen one that is definitely not for kids. Super violent. But yeah,
Hmm.
I like this show. It didn't come out this year, but I hadn't had a chance to watch it until this year. So
Okay. Cool. Um See, now I don't know how to play it because I don't know what I want to do. So
that's the hard part is like, what do you
I have things here. It's just what do I click on? What do I want to do? So I mean, this isn't really a thing that like I finished one season of it, I would say, and so I it's kind of one of those shows I'm like continually watching to a degree. It kind of got put on hold because of a different show that's on this list. But I randomly started watching Fresh Off the Boat,
mm,
um, the sitcom with Randall Park and Constance Wu and all that. So like it's based on a memoir from uh, Eddie Huang, like restaurateur, chef, food personality person. And so like the first like season, you have him like kind of like narrating it like the Wonder Years or something like that. And so you have that and it's fine or whatever, but like I feel like it really gained traction in this season too, because they got rid of that. Like now, like yes, this is based loosely from Eddie's upbringing, his parents, his life, everything. And so because of that, like yeah, he was narrating and stuff in the beginning, but his parents are such good characters that I think they're kind of taking over, and that might still be like that might continue on through the series because I know the series had 6 seasons, and so because it went
mhm,
from 2015 to 2020, and so like I'm sure like as I'm watching it, I feel like the parents are the more interesting characters, and then like the other kids as well. The other two kids get some spotlight as well, but it's like the show kind of forgot who its main character was and just chose different main characters. And I'm gonna be honest with everyone here, um, with the audience, with you, everyone, is that I think it did it for the better because I feel like Eddie
yeah,
was like the worst part of the show. Unfortunately, like I think he's a fine kid. I think he's funny. I think the things that are happening around him are funny, but I we have so many Wonder Year type shows, or we have so
yeah,
many like it feels like Ted without that crude humor. And so or it feels like Old Boy Meets World, but just like a little bit different. And that's all fine and dandy, but we already have that. So having this show about this family of Chinese immigrants, Chinese Americans here, and having them try to socialize and just live in the 1990s. It's really cool and interesting to see. Randall Park is hilarious. I think he is the best part of this, just being the dad. Um, he's a restaurateur as well. Like I forget exactly what it was, but like he basically like went to a, let's say, like a Chili's, right? Like he went to a Chili's and he was going to like do a startup for it, like a franchisee essentially. And so he was like, here's your binder and here's your franchisee. Now you have to pay us like 20 grand. He's like, who has 20 grand? And they let him take the binder with him. He's like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom, and he steals the binder. And so like he has his own knockoff Chili's essentially, and that's what he started, and that's why he's doing so well. But yeah, there's a lot of clips kept showing up on like YouTube or like
Yeah.
TikTok at a time where like they're trying to like buy a car from like Shack Motors.
Yes,
And like
that's what I've seen.
I finally saw that episode. I'm like, I've basically seen this episode already, but it was still funny. I think it's hilarious. Um, and Again, I'm still watching it. Like, there isn't really much to say because it's just a family sitcom, but I guess just because of how humorous it is, and just like I mean, it's fresh off the boat, so it's kind of like a fish out of water situation for like some of the parents, but then also um like the older child versus like the younger children as well, who are like really smart, whereas like the older child just like doesn't really apply himself. He isn't really super smart or anything. um like I want to say, I forget if it's this season or it's a few later, because again I've seen so many clips, but like as like the younger children start to go to like his school, then they start to say like, oh, you can sit in the back. Why am I sitting in the back? Oh, because your older brother told us that, like some fictional thing about Chinese people, where he's just
Yeah,
like, oh, your older brother told us that it's rude to sit in the front because then you're going to be strucken by my beauty or something. It's like something just stupid, just out, like something like
yeah,
a kid lie would say, and they just believe him because there aren't many Chinese people, I guess, in that school at the time, since it's the 90s. um but there's just situational humor, but it's also just genuinely funny, and so I do recommend it. I've only, again, watched maybe almost 2 seasons, I want to say, 2 or 3 seasons, but then I've seen a bunch of clips and stuff as well. But it is hilarious. I don't like the first season as much, but if you can get past that, then I think you're seeing like the real beauty of the show. So yeah.
see, and that's I started watching that and I couldn't get through the 1st season, but I remember Parks and Rec, everyone's like, "Get through the 1st season.
Hmm.
You gotta get through the 1st season, and then after that, it's great." And Parks and Rec is one of my favorite shows. It's so funny, but that 1st season was so dry, right? They had to get their groove. So I may go back and watch that, to be
Yeah.
honest. Um, so my next one, is a drama, and I finished it this year. So I did not watch it when it came out, but it's Shogun.
Okay.
Um, Hulu's big, huge show. It's based off the book. There was a miniseries type movie thing back in the day. Never watched it, but I was like, I kind of want to watch it because the main character obviously has been in a lot of movies.
Hmm.
But it's not just about him. It's like different things going on. Um, it's pretty brutal. Um, but it really is about like politics. It's about politics and lying and deceit and all these crazy things that happen during this time period. And the one person that's there from Portugal,
Hmm.
um, and he's just trying to get back home is what he wants. Uh, this they had one season, and and actually the main character won his first Academy Award,
Huh.
Oscar.
Okay.
Um, it's his first one, and he found out recently they're doing a second season
Oh, nice.
because when the show ends, it feels like there's a bunch of loose ends, but
Hmm.
that's where the book ends,
Yeah.
really. Um, I liked it so much. Um, if you're grossed out, don't watch it because the first couple scenes where they get this group of people that were on this boat, one of the punishments they used to do in those time periods of samurai would be boil people,
Yeah.
and they were boiling some of them. Uh,
Mm.
my wife didn't like that. She's not into like gross stuff, but it's really cool to like you start learning like characters and you know there's a love affair that should not happen. Um, it definitely is a drama. It's not an action. There is fight scenes and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, but it's just a crazy, crazy one. And me being a huge fan of Ghost of Tsushima, uh, that kind of played into that. And I was like, I kind of want to watch it. The episodes are long
Mhm.
and it's not a long season. And you get this, you can either watch it dubbed or they did it in the actual Japanese language,
Oh, wow.
which is, yeah. And so I preferred to watch it in the actual language.
Mhm.
But if you're like, I don't really want to read, they have a dub version. They have both versions, which is crazy.
Mhm.
Um, and they use most of the actors that spoke English and Japanese to do their stuff
Nice. I always love it
in
when they do that, where they end
yeah.
up just getting actors so they could be the same thing. It's like, what's the movie? I don't know. I just know that there's plenty of movies and stuff as well, like where they the main cast, like if it is like a bilingual type movie, or it could be, then yeah, they just try to get the same people to be both languages.
Jackie Chan was doing that for a while where he would do movies dubbed and he would do his own voice work.
Yeah.
Um, it's really well done. You could tell they spent a lot of money on this. Um, my favorite thing was is the Portugal man, they were like, once they started keeping him around, they go, "We have a bath drawn for you." He's like, "I took a bath last month."
Hmm.
In the Japanese culture, you take a bath every day.
Yeah.
Um, and he was in there and they were scrubbing him, and it was just crazy because they were making comments about how dirty he was and he smelled. So even after he would take his bath, right? There'd be times where like it kind of be funny where they're like, "Take a bath, you stink." Because they're so used to taking baths so often,
Yeah.
and then sailors and they're like, I'll take a bath when I need to,
Yeah.
you know? I think it's really well done, expensive show. Um, and I was so happy to see the main character who's also the same character, same guy that plays Scorpion in the new Mortal Kombat's.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure he won his first either Oscar or Academy Award, one of the two, for the show. Um, but they just announced a season two. When
Nice.
it happens, don't know. Um, but this was like a Hulu exclusive.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember. I always see it up there. I haven't watched
Yeah,
it, but I see it recommended to me occasionally.
I would recommend you watch it in their actual language, but sometimes I don't like to read stuff. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. If I can watch an anime in dubbed or the original language, I usually watch it dubbed because it's just easier.
Not me.
So I watched Detective Conan in dubbed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know I'm getting all the hate now. They're like, "What? That's not cool." And I'm the same person that said Kung Fu Hustle was horrible dubbed, but if you watch the movie in the actual language, so much better.
Well,
Much better.
localization has just changed as well over the
Yeah.
years to where it's not just comedy. Like not like that's the thing that upsets me about like Batman Ninja, where it's like they didn't localize it at all. Like the first Batman Ninja, when they dubbed it, it's completely different from the Japanese because they didn't have the script, so they didn't translate it. So they just watched the movie and just dubbed over it, like literally just dubbed over it, made up their own like story, which is stupid, but okay.
I mean, go back to the old either 70s Godzilla films or 70s martial arts films.
Yeah.
It is so funny because I've been watching those as a kick, and I'm like, I'm starting to hear the same voices that dubbed another movie,
Oh
dub this
yeah.
movie. But then when you watch the actual cut, you're like, that's not what they said.
Yeah.
So no, I totally get that. No, you're absolutely right. Uh, you know, Kung Fu Hustle is an example where I tell people, I'm like, oh, it's so funny, but you have to watch it in the actual language because the jokes don't translate at all.
Yeah.
You know, um, you don't get the same, and the voices for some of them are really bad.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna say that is I know. So
My turn. Um, Again, how I want to go to this. Um, what did I talk about? I talked about Kakushigoto. Talked about Fresh Logo. So I guess I'll just do it every other. Um, Next one I'll talk about here. I mean, it's a couple of them, I guess. This one I'm still finishing up slash watching. Um, so over the years, I've tried, or past couple years, I would say, because I've been watching just a bunch of random stuff. Um, I've been trying to watch the original like Gundam series, and
Oh,
so like
nice.
Mobile Suit Gundam. Um, and so I watched the original Mobile Suit Gundam maybe a couple years ago, maybe longer, or maybe a year ago. I really don't remember. But then I've also watched like the recap movies, which were a thing. There's three of those, which basically just tell the original Gundam series, but um, without any filler. Although there isn't really much filler, it's just more condensed. Um, and then I watched something called Double Zeta Gundam, which is the second series, or sorry, Zeta Gundam, which is the second series. Um, and so I watched that. I really, really like that one. So far, that one's my favorite. Um, and it ended kind of like on a cliffhanger. Um, the recap movies for that came out in like the early 2000s. They apparently cut off that cliffhanger and just like wrap it up nicely and just make it end, because this next series is kind of divisive. With the current one I'm watching called Double Zeta Gundam, which is the third series. Um, and it's like very tonally different from the last one. So like the first half is very like comedic. It like feels very Lupin to a degree. Like there's just a lot of slapstick comedy humor, um and it's all mostly a brand new cast with some cast members from Zeta Gundam and stuff, or original Gundam popping up here or there. But it's like it's dealing with like a bunch of kids who are on the Argama, the space ship, there, and fighting in the war and all of that. But it's very lighthearted for the most part, for most of it, and then it kind of takes a shift, and maybe about like halfway through the show, um and then it just starts getting more serious, I would say. And so I'm enjoying it for what it is. I don't know if I'm enjoying it more or less right now. I kind of watch it in batches. When I do watch it, I maybe watch like 4 episodes a week, because like I kind of like to just watch them all at once, because there are a couple like two-parters occasionally,
Mhm.
or like because the show is so, it rolls off of itself, like I try to watch like half a disc and then watch the other half of the disc, and then I go to the next one a different day, but I'm watching it with someone as well. um and so it's political, it's a mecha, like one of the original mecha anime. It's military science fiction, space opera stuff. It's very good. I would say all of them are very good from what I've seen. After I watch this, then I can watch something called Char's Counterattack, which is like the movie, and so like takes place after all of this, and it's like the one of the final like bookends to like this like section of Gundam. It seems like there's other things that kind of like can like go inside, or like, it'd be like, here's before the war, here's this thing, here's what was happening while your main cast was doing this. Like there's a lot of that later that kind of happen that comes out. But yeah, Char's Counterattack has always been widely regarded as like a great film, and very good animation, and good plot, storyline, and all of that. So I'm looking forward to watching that eventually here. Um, as far as Gundam goes in general, I mean, like I have been enjoying it. My only real touchstones to Gundam as a child were Gundam Wing, and um, watching a little bit of Double O when it was on Sci-Fi channel. But otherwise, that was pretty much it. I watched Gundam Wing. I feel like I enjoyed it enough, but
Yeah.
after watching like this, for example, like watching this show, this is just way, just so much better. Like it's
Yeah.
just crazy to think like that some of the ones that became popular over here, like Gundam Wing is like one of the most popular ones in America only. And that's because they just haven't watched the original stuff, and the original
Yeah.
stuff is just way better.
Gundam Wing was all over Toonami.
Yeah,
They showed it all the time. The one that I really liked, and I don't remember the name of it,
G Gundam.
where yeah, that's one where they all had like each country had their own
Yeah,
Gundam
I have
and
not
they would
watched
fight.
that.
If you ever play the Super Robot Wars on Switch, um, that character is in there. There's a lot of mech people in that
Yeah,
game, but that guy's in there, and it's crazy because I'm like, that was my favorite one because he was a Gundam fighter, um, and he would fight other Gundams from other countries, and there was a tournament, but like he was also like a really good martial artist. So there was times outside of that there would be fights. He reminded me of like Cowboy Bebop style, but I
yeah,
loved it when he would like fight in there. Uh, I remember on Toonami they would show Up Next Gundam, and they would like show these clips and like, what is that? Like, oh my gosh, it's a Gundam! Like everyone would freak out.
yeah.
But that was my introduction to Gundam.
Mhm.
Was Gundam Wing. Um, it's still a great anime series. Um, I mean, love it or hate it, I think it's probably one of the best. Uh, and doing what you're doing now makes me want to go back and watch those as well to see like the whole story. You know?
So, the recaps were on Netflix for the first show, at least. So the first 3 recap movies were there. There's also, I forget what it's called. It's a series. I think you talked about it too, maybe, but it was like a CG series.
Yes.
Um, that is the original show, but like from the other side's point of view. And so it's more horrific instead of heroic. So it's like, oh man, the Gundam's here. It's gonna attack us and kill us and all this. Whereas like in the other show, like, the battle, like heroic battle music is playing. Amuro's just being a good soldier, defeating the enemy and then going back to the white base and all that. So like it's interesting to see like the other side of that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the 3 movie recap movies are on there. Otherwise, if you have like Crunchyroll or something, I believe almost all of Gundam is just there. However, I think the first Gundam has a dub, but I think it's so old that it's not worth watching.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I'll have to look into it because I know there was a bunch they added to Netflix. And so I'll have to kind of take up and take a look. I feel like nowadays there's so much stuff that everyone watches, right?
yeah.
Everyone's list on whatever app you're using is I have done a very good job this year, especially is if I put it on my list, I want to finish it.
Hmm.
Okay. And if I'm not going to finish it or I don't like it, I take it off my list. Um, but let me tell you about a show I found on accident. Okay. So there's a show on Max called Bookies. Okay.
Hmm.
And it literally is about these guys that do, sports gambling. They're in LA. So there's one guy that owns this booking service. His sister works there, and then the other partner is an ex NFL star that literally has like 4 baby mamas. Okay. And their goal is they just want to become rich and they deal with rich people. So it's a comedy slash sometimes some crazy stuff happens. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. There's only 2 seasons. It is
Hmm.
a quick watch. After the first episode, I'm like, oh my God, I love this show. It's so funny. There's a lot of guest people. Like one of the people they have to go shake down and get money from. I'm not even I'm not even kidding around. Uh um, but they were like, there's people they have to get money from because they owe money. And this person, I'll give you a hint. Um, so this person here, his brother is Emilio Estevez. He's in like 2 or 3 episodes.
Oh, really?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it Charlie Sheen?
Yes. So one episode they go to this poker game that he's in. Guys, I'm gonna pay you this money. He goes, dude, we need it now. Or we need like something to hold us over. So he gives him like this expensive watch.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he goes, I'm good for it. Why would you come here? It's funny. And then he shows up in another episode where they're going to get killed by a drug cartel guy they went to go collect money from. And Charlie Sheen just walks in a baseball uniform. He goes, "Hey guys, what are you guys doing here?" And they're about ready to kill these guys. He goes, "So the guy that's the drug cartel is Charlie Sheen's second cousin."
Huh.
And he's like, "We've talked about this. Is this your anger and you still want to pay him?" He goes, "I just don't like losing." It like got really innocent real quick. And I'm like, dude, they were about to kill you and bury the body.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Great show. They got a second season and then it ended, but it really left on a big cliffhanger. And there's
Huh.
been no word of a third season. It's a Max only show. It's super quick. I think there's 8 or 9 episodes per season, maybe 10.
Yeah.
And they're only like 20, 30 minutes.
Okay.
So um, they're not very long, but they're great. Um, it's hilarious because, like, you know, funny stuff happens, and the main character, you know, he there's a cop that's always trying to bust him, and then moves in next door, and it's just hilarious. It's like a funny kind of show about sport betting and bookies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a now definitely I'm going to tell you now it's definitely not a show to watch around kids because it is definitely like rated R.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I found the show on accident. I think there was a clip on Facebook,
Okay.
and I was like, "Oh, this is funny." There's
Yeah.
lots of famous people that show up on the show,
Huh.
but it's a great, great show. I watched the whole first season, and then right as I watched it, they said, "I think the new season, second season, was coming out." So I lucked out. And then it ended, and I'm like, "There's so many things that are left unanswered," right?
Yeah.
Um, and I was watching this at the same time I was watching Mighty Gemstones, which Mighty Gemstones isn't on this list because I know I talk about it way too much.
Mm-hmm.
So, so anyone that's listening that know I talk about Mighty Gemstones, no baby Billy here, but it still was what I watched this year. So yeah,
All right. Well, I guess I'll talk about this one. I don't know. I don't know if I've talked about this on the air. I've talked about it with you. Um. So, like I said, the air. Like, how old am I? Radio
yeah,
waves.
that's how we
Um.
know we're old.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons we know we're old. Or it's like when I was talking to someone recently and talking about like, yeah, I grew up with this thing, and they're like, oh yeah, I played a lot of what they say, I played a lot of PS3 when I was growing up, and it's like, oh, I was like 6 or something when the PS3 came out. I'm like, what? But anyway, or maybe it was 8, but regardless, it was just wow. Let's see. So the thing I talking about here is a comedy science fiction drama uh starring Alan Tudyk, everyone's favorite
We did talk about
everyone's
this.
favorite Martian, but he's not a Martian. um this is a science fiction show. It's called Resident Alien. It's based on a comic book series that like didn't really find its footing. It seems like it like kind of happened, and I want to say like it had like one shots and stuff maybe in like 2016 to like 2020, and then like it started to have like a real um like an actual series from like like a mini series from like 2020 to like 2021 or something. But like sometime during that, it got a show on Sci-Fi. And so this show basic premise is that an alien crash lands in Colorado, and his plan and his like mission was to like set up a device to kill all of humanity. And the problem is though is that he crashes and then he loses his device, and he like lands on like this person's property, and he like beats them up, and like kills them and takes on like their appearance. And so like now he's just like this guy who's like on a lake, but then he finds out like, oh, this is a a doctor. And so because this guy kind of like lives on a lake like far away from town, but there is a very small town close by that had a doctor who recently was murdered. And so now they're like, hey doc, we need you to be the doctor over here. And so like this alien's like, yes, I will be the doctor. And like he has like a really bad accent and all this because he's just doesn't know how to speak proper English. um and so he pretends to be this guy named Harry and kind of just still tries to kill the human race, try to like get his stuff built and go from there. But like as the seasons and stuff progress, like he starts to like you see people who like can see aliens like past the skies. So like I don't know if it's in a trailer or what, but like you see newer trailers for the latest season, which is actually the last season now. But like there's a kid who's like the mayor's son who has a genetic mutation where he can just see aliens, and so he just freaks out. He's like, all right son, let's go to the doctor, and he just sees an alien in a lab coat and he freaks out. The special effects in this show really really good,
Yeah, they are.
especially for like what this show is. I didn't expect the special effects to be this good. You even have Sarah Connor as like a military like Area 51 like general as well in this show. Um, the guy who plays Bill Dauterive, or the guy from Dodgeball, he showed up recently in this latest season I'm in. Um, and so like this show is really funny when it can be, but then it does have some drawbacks. Sometimes it tries to focus on the human characters too much because it's like a small ensemble cast of a small town. So like there's here's the mayor and the mayor's wife and the son. Here are the police officers. Here is the person who works at the clinic, the hospital with the alien who used to work with the other guy who died. Here's her best friend. Here's her father figure and stuff as well. And so like there are a lot of people here, but like they do get their time to shine for better or for worse. Like sometimes it really does just feel like the show forgets that it's a show about an alien trying to kill the human race, and it kind of just like focuses on like real human issues on like some of these people that are dealing with. And like sometimes it does like tie back into it, like alcoholism or
Mhm.
something like that. But it's also just feels sometimes like, hey, we forgot what our show is. Can you go back to the actual plot, please? um
Yeah.
and that's how I felt, how it was in season 2 especially. Somewhere in the middle of season 2 it kind of like did something weird, um but then season 2 kind of ended fine. Season 3 was pretty good, and then season 4 is the one that's currently on, which is the last season. And then they switch networks, so like it's no longer Sci-Fi, it's now USA and Sci-Fi, but it's mostly USA. So the budget seems a little better too, because there's more like alien stuff and practical effects, it seems. So it just looks and feels a lot better. But the problem with it being on this now is that it's on Peacock is where I have to watch this newest season. The way Peacock works, I didn't know this because I've never watched a show on Peacock as it is airing. You get the show a week later.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Give me the day after. Be like South Park.
See, it's so weird because like SVU, right? I was watching Law and Order SVU. It's the next day. So if SVU comes out on Thursday, by Friday it's out. but some shows like that are not the
Mhm.
same. Uh, it's so funny because you say sci-fi. We should probably clarify for people that don't know what Sci-Fi Network was a cable channel.
Yeah. It still
Uh,
technically exists,
yeah,
I
it's still
think.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go on a Saturday. That's why I love Saturdays for sci-fi. They would have like a they were the ones that did the Sharknado movies.
Yeah,
Uh,
or just
when
random sci-fi movies would play,
Yeah,
and you'd be like, "What is this? All right, let's go." And it's normally bad, but like sometimes it's charming.
I loved sci-fi because you could watch on a Saturday. They would be like Saturday and Sunday. They would just show movies all day,
Yeah,
right? So, but they all have a theme. Like maybe it's like Sharknado movies, or maybe it's you
ti
know
time travel. Like I remember that was a
right.
theme once. Yeah, I watched
Yeah,
some
or like
random like office movie. I don't remember what it was, but like I remember watching this movie where like it had to deal with this guy like accidentally creating a time machine or something at an
yeah.
office. But like, yeah,
Sometimes it was like major movies. Like they would show like big blockbuster movies.
mm-hmm,
It was great. Like I loved like when we had really bad days. So it's snowing really bad.
yeah,
I would sit there and just watch crappy, and you'd watch them. I remember one time all of the Leprechaun movies in one day
yeah,
because they were all on. You just go with it. But yeah, that's I want to watch that show. I actually saw Alan Tudyk talk about it. He was very upset that the show was ending.
yeah,
Um, but like, you know, I feel like that's the thing now is like you get a good show and then bam, it's gone. Um,
yeah.
you know, it sucks. I don't see I think it's crazy to see like these giant, you know, people that are producing these shows. I don't know if they actually like see the numbers because I watched part of them talking about it in their panel.
Mhm.
That place was filled.
Well, because they didn't like announce that it was canceled until like the day that that panel happened,
Yeah.
along with like some other shows and stuff that got canceled too.
It's the natural order of things for things to get canceled.
Yeah.
Really. Um, like luckily for me, like some of my favorite shows like Chicago PD, um, Law and Order, some of these shows that I watch regular with my wife, not canceled. Do we have another off season of Walking Dead? Yes. Why not? Why not? I don't know who's asking for that at this point.
The thing
I'm like,
though, the difference though is that like your shows that you say like they're not canceled, and they feel like they could never be canceled. Um, I don't know. Look at the Colbert, Late Show though. Like that's one of those things where it's like you think that that wouldn't be canceled, and then stuff happens. Like
yeah,
I don't want to like get into like the specifics of that, but like it just feels weird. Or it's like there's no such thing as a sure thing anymore.
yeah. I think, and I feel like everyone's now to the dollar. That's
Yeah,
always what frustrates me. One of my favorite shows is Warrior, and you know this.
yeah,
They got a they did 2 seasons, got shuffled off to HBO, blew up overnight, and they got a third season. They're like, we're gonna do a fourth season, and like, no fourth season now. It's
yeah,
gone. It sucks.
yeah.
Um, One show that did get picked up for another season that is on my list here is Abbott Elementary. I think I'm drawn to shows like The Office or um, like Parks and Rec and like these shows that are like this where it's like a mockumentary sort of deal. Because I love this show.
Hmm.
Um, the first season is a little hard to get through, but once you get through the first season, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Um, Great characters. I love the principal. She's
yeah.
hilarious.
She's the best one.
Yeah. And there's kind of like a love thing going on, but they don't really do anything till like the last season I just watched.
Hmm.
But what was really crazy is they did a one with It's Always Sunny. They did one with that cast. So it's a crossover. So they did one this, and then on their show, there'll be episode with Abbott Elementary. Hilarious episode. And they toned it down because I've watched the other show for a while. I'm like, man, this is not how they act.
No.
But I heard on the one they did on It's Always Sunny. Oh, it's completely let's go.
Yeah,
Uh it's definitely language and everything.
yeah.
Um I like the show because sometimes it's got like a pretty serious problem, but it always is really good comedy.
Hmm.
If I had to pick 2 of my favorite characters, it's Mr. Johnson because he says the janitor says the most random things,
Yeah.
right? And then Ava, the principal.
Mhm.
Like, she her it's so funny because Janine just wants to be a good teacher, that's one of the main characters,
Yeah.
and that's what she wants, she wants to just be a good character and do what she can do to help her kids, and then you got Ava that's like, "I want this, I don't want anything to do with this,"
Mhm.
you know? And she's so mean to Janine.
Yeah.
It's even though there have been episodes where things that Ava had going on, Janine was there
Mhm.
um, I just love it, there's a good group of characters. There's a couple characters that kind of annoy me. I'm not gonna say who they are because 'cause I'll probably get a lot of flack. Um, but I think the show is well done. Even the character, there's one particular, I'm like, he's kind of a but even that character, the other characters even them out.
Mhm.
Um, it's an inner city school. They don't always get the best amount of funding. They gotta make things work. Um, in one season, Janine goes to district,
Hmm.
so she left. But it's a great show. It's funny. It's not hard to watch. They're about 30 minutes or whatever.
Do you remember that guy who used to have a lapel mic and he'd go to little kids and be like, "Are you smart?" Remember it was like,
Yes,
"Jabria, are you smart?" And she'd be like, "Yeah." That girl is like one of the kids now in like one of those like classrooms.
really.
Like in that show now. Yeah. Cause I remember hearing about that and then I watched an episode. I was like, wait, that kid sounds and looks familiar. And then sure enough, it's that kid from like those TikToks. Like she blew up because just a young, cute kid.
Yeah, I mean, I think even the kid actors in it are really, really good.
Yeah.
Um, well picked because it doesn't seem like they're acting.
Yeah, yeah. It
And I
seems
think
like they're just playing and learning.
um, like the shows like The Office and like Parks and Rec and stuff. My wife doesn't like those type of shows.
Hmm.
I seem to really like those shows, and I like how they're like talking to the camera
Yeah.
and the camera's there. Um, but I really like those type of shows. Will I probably watch those other 2 shows this year? Really, but I think I watch them every year. It's like The Sopranos. I think for the last 4 years, I have watched The Sopranos all 6 seasons in 1 year, every
Wow.
year. I go back to it because a TikTok clip shows up, right?
Hmm.
And you got,
I don't think I've
you know,
fully seen The Sopranos ever.
got Paulie Walnuts in
Yeah.
there talking smack or say he's gonna smack somebody around. Great. Um, it's so funny because I keep forgetting that show's from the '90s.
Yeah, it is. And like I've been tempted to watch it, but I realize how long it is and I'm just like I don't have the time. I could watch like 10 other shows instead.
I will tell you this, the season where Tony's mom well, I guess do we have to say spoilers from '90s?
I
I'll
don't
say
think it
spoilers.
matters.
With the season that Tony's mom passed away, that character actually did pass away,
Yeah, I know that.
so they were gonna write her off. The CG they used is awful.
Yeah. Well, it's
It's like
90s.
yeah, they literally clipped the picture of her and they just put it there, and all the lines were from other shows,
Yeah.
from other episodes. Um, it's crazy because there's a couple of characters that have passed away in real life.
Yeah.
Uh, which I will tell you this: the other crazy thing is, I was watching Goodfellas,
Mhm.
right? So the guy that played Paulie Walnuts, right? He's in Goodfellas.
Huh.
He's just like one of the random mobsters.
Interesting.
He is one of my favorite characters in the show.
Mhm.
You know, he is a no hold bars. It's so funny because you look at these older mobsters and you're like, why are people scared of them? Right? Because they're so unpredictable.
Yeah.
You know, like Chris, I could see you being scared of them. And the other thing that's good about the show is Tony is so paranoid. Um, I mean, there was one episode where I thought he was going to kill Paulie.
Yeah.
I think he actually thought about it because he goes, "Hey, let's get a boat and go fishing." Yeah, that means you're probably not coming back.
Yeah.
Uh, but like, and he would screw his friends over. It didn't matter,
Yeah.
you know. Uh, that's not on my list, but I do watch that every year. I think, Alex, if you put it on like just background noise, because so many episodes are the same, you could probably breeze through it. And then you're gonna get to the last episode and you're like, I still don't get it. I still don't, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
This is so weird. So, but yeah, that is one. Abbott Elementary is what I watched. I just watched finished this year. Great show.
All right. Cool.
We're getting to the nitty gritty. These are our last ones.
Do we have the same last one?
Oh man, if we do, we can just talk about it together.
What's what is your last one?
Detective Conan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so that's great. I figured it was. I'll let you start talk about it. I'll jump in.
Okay. Um so first of all, hello. I like Detective Conan. I also like Lupin the Third. Did you know that Lupin the Third and Detective Conan had a special and a movie together? They did. You should go watch it sometime. But what you can watch that's actually available, Crunchyroll and Netflix and TMS were playing nice for once, and they gave us, I forget what they're called, Black Organization Collection, something like that.
I think it's it. You were telling me.
And essentially it's curated episodes of things that have never released here in the United States. And so it was like episode 1, episode 2, episode 130 something, and then a special, and then episode 150 something or something. I don't know, like it jumps around. There's over 1,000 episodes of real Detective Conan. So like there's a lot. There's probably more than One Piece. But basically, in case you don't know, Detective Conan is a long-running manga from the 90s from Aoyama Gosho, and it is a detective manga, detective anime. Every episode tends to be kind of a whodunit or like a specific case, unless it's a two-parter. Like it'll specifically say it's a two-parter, and you just try to figure out who the killer is, who the whatever is, like whatever happened in that episode. And so this Men in Black detective, or this Black organization collection thing, essentially is to just grab plot relevant episodes and kind of just have them available. And if these do well enough, then we'll probably get more of these, or hopefully they just release the real show. These episodes look better than my DVDs, for the first two episodes in particular, because they're using the HD version of it. Because they basically, for the first so many old episodes in Japan, they kind of like retouched them and just made them look nicer and more HD and rescanned them. And so this collection, yeah, comes with the first two episodes, where Shinichi Kudo is a high school detective boy. He goes on a trip to Disneyland, Tropical Land, I think is what it's called, and he goes there with his not girlfriend, who is his girlfriend, who's not his
Not
girlfriend,
girlfriend.
Ron Mori, and a case happens on the roller coaster, and the police show up, and he like notices some like shady people, but he's like, oh, these shady people are shady people. They're not the culprits for this, but they are shady. And so they solve that mystery or whatever. He kind of leaves, and he catches them doing something, and he gets hit in the back of the head, poisoned with some experimental drug, and the experimental drug transforms him into a child, and so he basically shrinks into his, like a elementary schooler essentially. And so he like runs back to his house, but like his parents aren't around. They're all they're overseas, because his dad's like a novelist and his mom's an actress. And so he goes to his neighbor, Agasa, the Professor Agasa, Dr. Agasa, depending on how you're watching it. And he's like, "Hey, Doc, I got changed into a kid." He's like, "What are you talking about? You're not Shinichi. You're just looking for Shinichi." He's like, "No, I'm him." "Oh yeah, and tell me something Shinichi would only know." "Oh well, you have this mole on your butt." And he's like, "Oh wait, you're Shinichi." It's like, first of all, why does this 16-year-old know that this old man has a mole on his butt?
I know,
Um,
right?
but so now Conan, for the rest of the show, essentially the rest of the series, is that he got drugged by this black organization, and he's going to try to find out like who they are, try to get like his body back essentially. And also the doctor comes up with like cool like James Bond gadgets for him so he can like be a better detective. And he goes to his not girlfriend's house essentially, or she shows up, and Agasa's like, "Hey, can you watch this kid? He's a relative of mine." And she's like, "I guess, sure." And so like the plan is, because her dad is a detective, it's like, "Oh, you might find information about these men in black if you're at this detective agency."
Mhm.
And so he's a really horrible detective. But yeah, they get a hit, and then now Conan is like basically there, like trying to solve the mystery with them. And Kogoro has this title. I don't know if this showed up. No, I guess that didn't show up in those first two episodes. But there's something called the Sleeping Sleuth. So basically, yeah, because he used it in one of those episodes though against someone else. He has these like tranquilizer darts inside. Conan has these tranquilizer darts inside his watch, and so when he shoots those at Kogoro, Kogoro falls asleep, and he like sits down, and like his mouth disappears, like the animation disappears, and but his head is like really like low, like low, so you can't see his mouth. So if he was moving, um, so that's normally when like Conan like hides behind like a chair or something, switches his bow tie to sound just like Kogoro, and then he like explains like, "Oh, the killer is you because of this and this. Conan gave me this thing." Or he'll be like, "Oh, Conan, can you bring this thing over here?" And then Conan just walks. He's like, "Yeah, here you go, detective," or whoever it was, the police officer guy. And then he like goes back behind the chair, and he's like, "Oh, okay, well, this and that." So he's just pretending to be Kogoro. And so this like throughout the series as well, Kogoro's like reputation gets higher and higher because they're like, "Oh, it's a sleeping sleuth. He solves like every case. He's super good." And
Yeah.
so because of that, like Conan like now is getting more cases. He can try to find the black organization, blah blah blah. So that's a rough like what is Detective Conan. Now, there's a character who was never introduced in the American versions of the show because of time constraints, because only so many episodes came out in the United States, like 130 came out, and then they stopped localizing them and dubbing them. And so those episodes just kind of stopped. And so they also released 6 of the movies Funimation did as well. And I want to say it's movie 2 or movie 3. This new character shows up, and you don't know who they are if you only watched American. And so the only thing you know is from the very beginning of it, where it's like, "Oh, this is this person, and they did this thing, and they did this thing, and that's why they're here." And so that's all I really knew for the longest time. It's just like, "Oh, okay, this is another character who got this thing happen to him." Um, but so there's like a special about this character, and then some other things that like tied to the black organization. So like, yeah, it's very much a curated list. And so if you all watch it and stuff, then maybe we'll get more. But the special thing about this curated list is that it's dubbed by Studio Nano, I think is what they're called, and they're brand new to dubbing Conan. I don't know if they've dubbed anything else before. Megure, the Inspector Megure, like the guy with who looks like Inspector Gadget,
Oh yeah.
like the big guy. Um, he his dub actor is the same actor that was in the Funimation dub. So like
Okay.
they grabbed him. The original Ron, who was Rachel in the Funimation, because Funimation had stupid names. They she is like a random character in like one of these episodes or something like that. So like they seem to have grabbed old actors to like have cameo appearances, which is really cool. But like the new Kogoro, Shinichi, Ron, all that, they're all like new, like even newer than they're not the same as the ones in the recent dubs of the movies because I think Bang Zoom or someone, um, yeah, it might have been Bang Zoom Entertainment. I think did the dubbing for the recent movies that were localized by Discotech, and so like yeah, this is another new cast. So this is like the third cast we've had for Conan, and people really like this cast. I watched the whole thing. These episodes that came out, they came out on Netflix first, and then it took like a week for Crunchyroll to get them, and then they finally got them. But I watched them all subbed. Or I guess I didn't watch the first two episodes because I've watched those already. I've watched those a ton of times. And so watched all the other ones, and then I watched the first two episodes dubbed, and then I kind of just had on the dub just like running because I wanted to give an extra view, just so you know the numbers, the algorithm goes up and it shows like, hey, people like this. So the dub's pretty good, I would say, in my opinion. A lot of Detective Conan Case Closed people that I've heard, like fans who have podcasts and stuff, they seem to really enjoy this dub in particular because it's localized in a certain way to where it feels like the Funimation. So like it feels like comedic in that sense. Someone described it, I forget where it was, so forgive me, audience, if this gets clipped out or something. But one of the it was like one podcast prevails or something like that. Someone described that the recent movie dubs were like they were dubbing an episode or a movie of Detective Conan, and that's fine. Whereas they felt like the feeling of this was like they were dubbing an episode of Case Closed. And so I don't know, it supposedly just feels better and like it is more organic compared to maybe how the dubbing process was for
Mm.
like the shows that were on Tubi or what have you. Because yeah, Tubi had some bad dubs on there, honestly, like stuff where like people were moving their mouths and there was no voice coming out.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you told me to watch the show. You're like, "Oh my gosh, you gotta watch this," because we were talking about it one day. So I started, and for me to get hooked on the show, it's gotta be the first couple episodes, right?
Mhm.
So the first episode solves the case, second episode shrinks. And you warned me it's gonna jump around, and it did, but I was still able to follow what was going on. I
Mhm.
was still able to kinda see this here. I think a lot of times in animes with large seasons, there's so many episodes where it's like filler episodes. Like I think we
Yeah.
talked about Naruto having a ton of those. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I watched it. I finished it up today. It's really, really. Uh, it's not my type of anime I normally, um, but it is very, very good. I think the crazy thing is he idolizes Sherlock Holmes, right?
Yeah.
And with his gadgets and stuff, because I remember the one episode where he was going after this guy that was kidnapped a girl, and he tried to fight him. He's like, "Oh, I can't because I'm too small." And of course, his not girlfriend came in and saved him.
Yeah.
But it was like really well done. It's well scripted. Um, I like how he thinks in his head of what's going on. It's very Sherlock Holmes-ish
Yeah.
before. I'm talking like Robert Downey Jr. before Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
You know, like in the movie with Robert Downey Jr., he thinks it out first
Yeah.
in his head. and then he does it, right? He does the same thing.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really good and really excellent. Out of all the ones on the list here, I would tell anyone that's a big anime fan, definitely.
Hmm.
And this is the way to watch it.
Yeah, and again, like there is a dub this way. If you go on Crunchyroll, the first 130 roughly are still there. Um, they're subbed, and I think the Funimation dub is still there. Maybe I'm not sure. Um, I don't like that dub. That's the one I grew up on, but like I don't like it because of the localization names are just all weird. Where it's like it's that era where they think that they're afraid of Japanese names for some reason,
Mhm.
but they keep the Japanese last names. So it's like instead of Shinichi Kudo, it's Jimmy Kudo, or Ron Mori is Rachel Moore, Richard Moore instead of Kogoro. Which and then you're losing stuff because like Kogoro is like a reference to like Kogoro was it Kogoro Kechi, I think, which is like the Japanese Sherlock Holmes. Um and
Mhm.
then like yeah, there's just like references even in names and stuff too. Like even like uh like when a case happens, like sometimes there are like names that like are in reference of other things, but then localization happens and they change it completely. But there is something if you go to TMS, is it TMS USA or TMS America? I forget what, but if you go on their YouTube or type in Detective Conan or right now, you'll find that they have these things called like Conan movie nights on like Saturdays now at like 10 p.m. And basically they release a movie and then it's available for a whole week until the next movie night. So right now, I want to say it's the fourth movie or fifth movie that's out there right now. Countdown to Heaven. That doesn't have a dub; it's subbed only. But it looks nicer than my DVD, which is like really upsetting because I wish that I had a nice
Yeah.
copy of this. Um, and so if you watch all of this stuff here, you should be fine watching this Countdown to Heaven movie. This movie is pretty good, also. But uh, the main thing is just like knowing who I is roughly, even. Then you should be fine. But yeah, before they did Zero the Enforcer, and then they did the painting one, maybe I forget, but they've done a few of the oh no something darkness something I almost said Eternal Darkness, that's a video game. um Darkest Nightmare. um and so they had like the discotheque dub of that on there, since they were just kind of doing dubs, but for the things that seem to be Funimation, because I think they're trying to stay away from like Jimmy whatever, they just had the sub only for that movie.
Yeah.
So like yeah, you can definitely keep a lookout for those on YouTube, and those seem to be happening every Saturday, at least for the next some odd weeks. It doesn't seem like it's going to be stopping anytime soon. And there's like 26-ish movies, maybe more. So like they're probably eventually just going to show all of these on YouTube. And so at that point, yeah, go ahead and do that. There are some that are available for renting on like Apple or Amazon, stuff like that. Bride of Halloween's really, really good in my opinion. But otherwise there are some that are like physical that I have. I don't know if all the physicals are still out, but yeah, Japanese Sherlock Holmes, fun time. It yeah, it's great. I really like it. I've always liked it. I especially got into it like around high school, but uh yeah, hopefully we see more. And then I mean we're also seeing more because Yaiba, Samurai Legend, like that's on Netflix, and that's Aoyama's first manga series. I want to say even before Kaito. Kid, which is like a character in Conan. Um, and so like yeah, there's um it's promising that we're going to see more Conan or maybe more Aoyama stuff in the future here because it seems like they're really trying to do this. Black Iron Submarine is not the latest movie. It's like 2 movies behind Japan, but it was shown at a recent convention and then it's going to be shown at another convention here. I think at the end of August, within a dub. And I think once that happens, then it's probably going to come out digitally. And so you can rent that or whatever. But that's probably going to focus on things that you don't know. So just FYI.
Yeah.
But
I think it's great. When we put these lists together, I was like, I wonder how many of these we're gonna have, you know, the same. I knew you weren't gonna watch Goosebumps, but I knew at some point we were gonna have Detective Conan on. And
yeah,
I would not have watched it if you wouldn't have told me because I know there's these spin-off series on there. And so I was like, "What do I watch?" And you're like, "Nope, watch this." So the one we're talking about, that's the one to watch, and to check out the other ones as well. But yeah, we got through it. That's
yeah, we
our
did.
that's our lists of what we watched so far. We're kind of the mid-year range here. If you like this podcast, I'd love for you to like subscribe to it, download it on Spotify, follow us on Spotify, but also do not forget our YouTube. Go there, like the uh, movie. God, it's been a day.
Yeah, you're fine.
Like the video, subscribe to the video, all that good stuff. And we are on Blue Sky as well. Um, Alex, do you have anything else to say?
Nothing except get at it.
Get at it.